One ringy dingy, two ringy dingies, three ringy
Hello.
dingies. Good evening, Lonnie Poindexter. It is a tremendous honor and pleasure to have you on the Exceptional Conservative Show.
Hey, brother, thank you so much. And my apologies when your earlier call came through. I was in the library of the West Wing of my 50,000 square foot estate.
I understand. I understand. It's difficult to get all the way over to the studio. You got to make that run. I can understand. Now, let's just dispose of any ill-begotten gossip that may have been on our program, because it's amazing that on this particular night, our producer, Bonnie Williams, is missing from the show. And you happen not to pick up on the first call. So I'm not trying to point any fingers, but Mary said, because I'm not the kind of guy that would throw somebody under the bus. Okay, Mary said, take the fifth. Take the fifth. I understand. So Mary, apparently we're not going to have any blockbuster news, or we're not going to have any breaking news tonight. Mary.
So I would be former Speaker Willie Brown to Miss Bonnie.
So you're not going to go out and buy her a Mercedes Benz. You're not going to do that.
No. No Mercedes Benz and designer clothes at the most fancy haberdashers in San Francisco and New York City.
Wow. It's amazing. Everything that is Democrat in principle is not the individuals that represent the Democrat Party. You got Kamala Harris, who slept her way to the top. You have Governor Northam, who blackfaced his way to the top. His AG hearing told him that he needs to resign, and then a few days later we found out he was blackface. And then for the Me Too movement, Justin Fairfax, the lieutenant governor, is in a statement by Ms. Tyson that he forced her to have sex with him. So I wanted to get your comment, because you have a wonderful program. You reach over 2 million people every single week. You're from coast to coast and around the world on Line Chasers radio and television, and as well on American Family Association. You tell me, are you all handling this story? What have your shows been about regarding these particular issues in the Commonwealth of Virginia?
Well, what we're learning is that apparently a prerequisite to becoming an established, esteemed member of the Democrat Party is there's got to be some kind of hanky-panky and foolishness. We see this everywhere, and you mentioned some of the esteemed members of the Democrat Party. Let's add to that the newly elected governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who, gentlemen, in case you're not aware of it, is Candle Rock at the brash New Yorker we have in the Oval Office. The Democrats are taking this to a new level. Hey, did you hear about Joy Behar, one of the hens on the View? It's just come out that she did a little blackface herself back when she was in her 20s.
Wow.
And, dressing up as an African American with an afro and everything. So, yeah.
Wow. You know what? She should do it. She should do it tomorrow on The View, because it was Whoopi Goldberg who had her boyfriend Ted Danson in blackface for a roast.
Preach.
There you go. And it says blackface is now out because you can't do it and be a true Democrat. There were a few other people who were blackface. I remember it was Hillary Rodham Clinton who was blackface with Bill Clinton. Yeah. So
there's a photograph going around that folks are saying that they think that's Bill and Hillary.
Yeah.
And so I'm just finding that, and you and I know this, they're the biggest hypocrites in the world. We've been trying to tell everybody that the Democrat Party is a party of slavery and Jim Crow, that leopard has not changed its spots, it just changed its delivery. And just because you have black folks up in the Democrat Party does not mean that black folks have reining men all up in there in terms of what he did for the homosexual community.
There you go.
Something to ponder on.
Preacher on preacher. Lonnie Poindexter tonight with us from American Family Association's Urban Family Talks. The Lion Chasers program reaches 2 million people on a weekly basis. Nightly, nightly at 11 p.m. Eastern Time on Urban Family Talk. You can hear the archives version of his show. And during the day from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you can hear his magnanimous program. I'm going to skip the break right now. If you could stay with me for a few more moments, I want to talk with you about some various issues. And I'm quite certain all the ladies love the fact that I'm making this ultimate sacrifice, because nobody wants to look at my pretty face for the rest of the
Except Mrs. Biggs.
Except for Mrs. Biggs, exactly.
and we want to get her eyeglasses checked.
And you live in virtually communist California, and New York is becoming a communist nation in its own right. And he made the announcement on Monday that the state was going to come up $2.3 billion short of income tax revenue. $2.3 billion. And then literally that their idea is to tax the rich. You have to tax the rich to get the money back. But that has caused people to leave New York in bushels. I mean, there were more than 1 million people that left New York last year alone. So I got to ask you, is the same thing happening in California?
Oh, the large sucking sound that you hear coming from the West Coast is the vacuum that was created from all the folks hightailing it out of California, heading for Texas, heading for North Dakota, heading for, frankly, anywhere other than sunny Southern California or California in general. And it was, what's his name? Mr. Stossel, a nation where you have the haves with unbridled wealth, and then you have the have-nots, and those pushed to the edges of society, people living on the streets, needles, human feces everywhere. And then the middle class is nowhere to be found because they've been run out of San Francisco, in the San Francisco area, are living in Central California, or they're packing up their things and leaving the state altogether. And the culprit is leftist liberalism.
Yeah.
And you got the same thing taking place in Illinois, the same thing taking place in New York State, and specifically in New York State, it's New York City. And it's a crying shame. But, hey, brother, you and I both know that those particular states were picked for a reason with the liberal ideology, because so goes California, so goes New York, typically so goes the rest of the nation.
Exactly. We were talking with Michael Vasquez, who will be broadcasting with us out at CPAC in a few weeks.
Yeah.
On the 27th of February through the 2nd of March. We will be broadcasting live from there. Will you be joining us?
You know I'm going to be there. I wouldn't for the world. I just want to see you. I want to see you sit behind that big fancy microphone.
Oh, okay. There you go. Lonnie Poindexter will be there too. So, CPAC normally over the past decade or so hasn't broached the issues of socialism, late-term abortion, things of that nature. They've been kind of middling. They're not really conservative anymore. They're more along like the establishment Republicans. But at the State of the Union address, there's a whole lot like thoughts. At the State of the Union address, Donald Trump brought up those two issues. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And I want you to give me your opinion on the reaction of Nancy Pelosi and her sarcastic clap towards Donald Trump.
You know, this president, who they don't know what to do with, and you and I both know he's hated on both sides of the aisle, by the left for obvious reasons, and then by the establishment in the GOP, because they're just a different side of the same coin as the leftists on the left side of the aisle. All cabinets up in there, and the more liberal-minded libertarians. I'm not beating up on libertarians. I mean, I got love for them, but there's the liberal contacts, and you're just so well connected. Also, Sandy Rios from AFR, American Family Radio, she goes independently there, so we have a presence there. So I think this president, I guess to sum up, is going to shake things up there because they can't put him in a box. They don't know what he's going to say. They try to influence him through his inner circle, but you see at the State of the Union address, man, I jumped up and down and cheered when he came out in support of the pro-life and wanted to do away with infanticide. And so Nancy Pelosi, yeah, she's going to give all kinds of faces and hand claps. She's probably, her head's probably spent around like a private court based on what he said.
Now, I was talking earlier tonight about infanticide. And Governor Northam in Virginia, who was roundly defeated by the Republican House and Senate and the Assembly of Virginia on this particular issue of late-term abortion, Governor Cuomo believes that it is a woman's right for late-term abortion. But we played earlier we played earlier his remarks regarding infanticide virtually, and that it's a mother's choice. And I made the announcement tonight that really this is a multi-pronged fight. It has nothing to do with taxes or anything of that nature. It has everything to do with a rebellion against the Constitution and the enforcement of communism in America. They have thrown down the shackles of socialism and progressivism. They don't want to play that game no more. They are straight out with you, letting you know that we want to control every aspect of your life. Your thoughts regarding what the they're no longer Democrats, what the Socialist Party of America is all about.
No, I agree with 100%. You know, on my show today, I had Emory McClendon, who was out of the great state of Indiana, and he published an article in Politichicks who spoke to that very thing. He said it had everything to do with socialism, and so I'm trying to pull it up here. I got a temperamental computer. Let me just read a little bit of what he said in his article. But he's never been as bold as you are. It says, amid the growing calls for the institution of socialism in the United States, a new call to stop its momentum rang out in the chamber of the United States House of Representatives during President Trump's second State of the Union speech. Using 7 words, the president made his intentions crystal clear to those in the Democrat Party that are striving. You know, her invited guest was the new president of Planned Parenthood, and I forget the woman's name, and said that they were dressed alike in their what I call swamp suits, you know, the business suits that the women wear on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
And I likened them to, remember the Wonder Twins, the cartoon series?
Yeah.
And so I call them the superheroes, the Wonder Twins, except that when they pull out their the special rings and they unite them together, and what happens is, you know, the bolt of lightning that somewhere in America a baby is eviscerated or heads chopped off, or, you know, all the other sundry things that the abortionists do when they're dispatching with babies in their mom's womb. And, oh, by the way, folks, just as Tim so eloquently stated, the governor of Northam from Virginia is a pediatrician, and what he was doing is agreeing with the very fact that they can even do away with the baby if it happens to survive, or the mother decides once the baby's been delivered and on the delivery table, they can still decide with the doctor and the doctor consenting to do away with the baby on the delivery table. That's what these ignorant fools are today. I despise them. I hate them. I don't call them misguided anymore. Yeah, they need Jesus, but they're just evil.
Yeah.
And they're just evil. How can you be a pediatrician and say you love children, but you're okay with killing babies, either in the womb or on the delivery table?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Now, there is some nonsense that is brewing in England, Great Britain, and Lady Doreen Lawrence spoke out against it. Her son was knifed to death, killed by someone back in 1993 in Southeast London. What is it about Southeast anything? Is that what all the... Never mind. And I live in Southeast DC. I know, I live in Southeast DC. What is it about Southeast and black people and murder? Anyway, but Southeast
Los Angeles.
Yeah, exactly. What is it? Oh my God! When you hear a black person say they want to move to Southeast, you got to worry about them. Anyway, Stephen Lawrence was stabbed to death in an unprovoked attack in Southeast London in 1993 at the age of 18. His mother is the Labour peer Baroness Lawrence, and she spoke before the Home Affairs Select Committee. Now, she and I may never agree on politics of any kind, except for this, that the knife crime prevention order that the Home Secretary of England is putting out should not be supported in any particular case and should not be used. They are targeting suspects age 12 and over, and the pursuit is to criminalize 12-year-olds and over who carry a knife. So I guess if you're under 12, it's okay to carry a knife, but over 12, once you hit that birthday, baby, you could go to jail. And she spoke out against that as institutional racism. I wanted to get your thoughts regarding that.
You know, I was thinking back to in biblical times, we know Cain slew Abel, so what they're trying to pass in England is the equivalent of trying to say because Cain slew Abel with a rock, there needs to be a moratorium and a ban for any male child up to 12 years old carrying rocks.
Yep.
It's ludicrous. And this is just, and folks, what Ken is alluding to is the fallacy of failed liberal ideology and policies because, you know, in Great Britain, they banned guns.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a Second Amendment over there. So what's happened is, okay, yeah, guns are harder to come by, so your sundry criminals that are there now just use knives instead. And so they want to ban the size of knives. You can carry a knife, so you could be a chef on your way home from work at a restaurant and have your culinary knives with you and get pulled over there by one of the bobbies and thrown under the jail because you have your tools of your trade with you.
Exactly. And who lives in Southeast London? I'm sorry, who lives in Southeast DC? I'm sorry, who lives in Southeast?
Well, I can tell you who lives in Southeast London. It's the affectionate term that you've applied to them, you and Brother Dave Miller is Mohammedan.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
no go zones in Great Britain where even the cops are afraid to go without major reinforcements because those communities did not assimilate into the predominant culture in Great Britain. And so it's radical Islam, as always.
Exactly. The radicals, they're going at them one way or the other. But here's the thing, and you and I both know this. Liberals will pick this up and bring it to the UN. They will bring it to New York. They will bring it to Los Angeles. They'll bring it to D.C. And next thing you know, you can't carry a knife in America.
Yep.
Your Second Amendment rights are at risk, ladies and gentlemen. But they're not at risk when you're listening to Lonnie Poindexter, Christian commentator on Lion Chasers Radio, 2 million strong and growing across the country. And when can they hear you, sir?
They can catch me 11 a.m. Eastern until 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at urbanfamilytalk.com. Also, if you go to the website, you can find out what radio towers that I'm broadcasting on across the country. It depends on what locale that you live in. So we broadcast at 2 mediums, terrestrial radio towers, and also over the internet. Shows called Lion Chasers. And what I do is try to be like Ken when I grow up. Is truth to power and deal with the intersection between faith and public policy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my very good friend, Lonnie Poindexter. You got to tune him in. Tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m., Friday, Lion Chasers Radio. We will be right back with more of the best right after these messages, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.